Men, 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 ooh. Men, 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 ooh. Men, 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 ah, ah. Yeah, sorry. No, I had to do that because I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. That's practically an intro for you guys. And if you don't know what we're talking about from me singing the intro, then I don't know for you. I don't know for you. I don't know. Because it's like now you know, you know. Like, right? It's like, that's like, yeah. For people, it's like if you, I don't know, to sing it in a charades or any kind of thing, like, it's the biggest clue in the world. Like, it's not even anything crazy. But I was just dreaming about this show last night, and that's why I said to myself, I'm going to do a podcast episode on it. And I haven't spoken about a show in a long, long time, and I need to get back into that. Talking about shows, I need to get back on that. Because I think I was writing one about, I just wrote my recent Sweet Pea article, yeah, and I thought to myself, should I talk about Sweet Pea? But I was like, no, because I wrote about it. So it's like, you guys can read it instead of like me doing a whole podcast episode, like about it, even though Sweet Pea was very good. But moving on, so 2.5 Men. What a show. Two and a Half Men used to come on Comedy Central. But then, if you guys don't have Sky, then I feel like 2.5 Men then used to also come on something like Channel 5. Like, it used to come on one of those terrestrials. The channel, I don't remember it exactly, but I know when I started watching it that that it was Comedy Central. Like, when I was young, like, we obviously in my house, we still have Sky now, but we had Sky from the very beginning, or like always when I was young. I grew up on Sky basically, which is like, sometimes it's like when you say that, you feel like you're some kind of privileged kid or something, but it's not even that serious. If I say I grew up on Sky, it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't make me better than anybody else. Like, we all watched TV at the end of the day, and we all watch similar shows. Like, do you know what I mean? We all grew up on CBeebies, Milkshake, CBBC, like, just all the generals. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because I think to myself, I was like, sure, I always had the choice of Sky, but mainly most of the shows that I watched back then, I do remember most of them, like the ones that were on TV, like the ones that really, really like stick with you. Like, for example, the other day, I reminisced and started thinking about Waverloo from CBeebies. And it's like, I thought, Waverloo, yeah, it just made me nostalgic because I feel like Waverloo has such a cute intro. Like, it's a relaxing intro, like, it's comforting. And I think and I was saying to myself, what do they put in child shows? What do they put in there? Because they put something in there. Like, the shows are so insightful, so relaxing. Like, you can go to bed to them, which is obviously what they're supposed to do. I mean, the shows would usually wind you down, innit, for when TVs would close at 6 or 6:30. Like, it was either 6 or 6:30, and TVs would just close off. But I think, like, I understand that their shows were winding down shows. Like, they could get you there because even Waverloo, I'm like, Waverloo is so comforting that I could have just fallen asleep. Like, I could have just gone to bed. Like, but they're so cute. But no, 2.5 Men, yeah. So 2.5 Men. Hold on a second. Yeah. So Charlie Sheen, right? Charlie Sheen, John Cryer, Angus T. Jones, because Angus T. Jones was the guy. Even Ashton Kutcher. I remember when they did the Ashton Kutcher one. But to believe that this show was on for 12 seasons, guys. Ugh, like when I was singing the intro, they knew the show was too iconic. The intro is so iconic. It ran for 12 seasons. Of course, it's a sitcom, so sitcoms do have long shelf lives, so if we're honest. They always do have a very lengthy shelf life. Like if a sitcom has a short shelf life, we know that there's something wrong here. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and I just mean because like it's American and like, yeah, it's just like if a sitcom doesn't have a lot season, and there's something wrong. And I think my favorite thing about Two and a Half Men actually is like because it's 2 men and a half because he's a boy, and I think that's so like, it's just great. Like, do you know what I mean? So yeah, like I just love that. Yeah, and that obviously it spans over the years of him growing up. Charlie Sheen's obviously funny. Like, oh yeah, I was gonna say as well, because obviously when I was dreaming up this podcast. It makes it sound so weird, but no, I see stuff I was gonna say in this episode. But like, I was thinking about the fact that Two and a Half Men is also like a show that feels like the same feel of New Girl because like it's such a refreshing show. And also, have you guys seen the interviews of the reunion of the New Girl cast? And like those guys, why do they just feel like they're characters? And Two and a Half Men also feels like that. Like it's an American sitcom, but it feels like they don't really have to act. Like we know that Charlie Sheen is funny. Like sorry. If there are, you better find them and give them to me immediately. Like sorry. I had to do the reference. I just couldn't help it. But yeah, that's how you can say like Charlie Sheen is funny, and he's similar to what was his character called? I don't know, man. Charlie, yeah, sorry. His character was called Charlie. When you think to yourself, why did they give him his actual name? Right? Do you know what I mean? Not even a lot of them had their own names. You know what I mean? None of them had their own names. John was called Alan. Angus was called Jake. Why are you the only person who gets to be in there and have your own name? Yeah, okay. Because then, imagine if I ever did a deep dive on Two and a Half Men. And probably, I don't know, I sometimes think that all shows have skeletons. And it's like, it's not a bad thing, but like, they probably do. Like, the way that like, I don't know. Yeah, there's probably stories behind the show. Like the show is the show, but like there's stuff going on in the back. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's probably even the same with Two and a Half Men. I mean, it's such a wholesome show, but I mean, like, I wouldn't be surprised. Do you know what I mean? And then if you have Charlie Sheen on there, such a big character. Not even just as a person. That's what I mean. We're saying character, but we mean who he is as a person. But right, he's a big character. So obviously, yeah, like what? That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say with him being called Charlie and the rest of them not, we said we know who the show belongs to. Right? Do you know, like, that's what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Sometimes I think the genre of shows like that, when a show is like, yeah, when a show is one person show and everybody else is just like the puppets in the back, or like like they're characters, but like they're side characters, if you understand. Even though me myself, I quite loved John's character. Yeah, I love John's character, Alan, though, because Alan's like so funny. Like he was so funny on that show. Like that's what I mean. So I guess I don't know. I might tell myself, yeah, when you do have shows like that and it feels like it's just the main guy, you're like, no one really cares about the other characters. But then yeah, that's not the case. Because if I also compare it, yes, with New Girl, which is one of my favorite shows, I'm also like I'm benchmarking it because we're probably going to talk about New Girl one time in the near future. But yeah, like obviously you could say with New Girl being centered around Zooey Deschanel, like yes, she's important, but we all love the characters who are around her, like Nick and Coach and Winston and Schmidt. Like, sorry, they obviously make up her story. Do you get it? She wouldn't be them. She wouldn't be her without them, right? That's what I mean. They make it seem like that though when you have a main like a main character in a story like that, but that's not the case. You know what I mean? There's obviously so many examples you can talk about with like, probably the main character of the show thing, like, because they're the main character of the show, they're like, don't mess with me because this is my ship. I know that like people said that about Leah Michelle on Glee. They said that about her on Glee because they said she was the star, right? Which we all knew that, like, even from watching Glee, even Glee actually gives me that feel of like, yeah, these people weren't doing much. They weren't doing much acting, They were literally just being themselves. You can't lie to me and tell me that you weren't. They were acting a bit. Because, of course, I think like sometimes with even Brittany's character, I'm like, sure, you probably would have to act for that. Like, Brittany was eccentric, she wasn't dumb. Like, she just wasn't all there. Like, and that's fine. Like, that's what I mean with that. You'd have to act. But I'm saying, like, even with Leah Michelle, yeah, I'm like, she was obviously a star on the show. And, like, she was a star off the show. Like, and she seemed, obviously, they said she would have problems with people because she knew that if she was the star and she wouldn't be the one getting axed, it would be the other person. Because I remember her controversy, actually. So, like, we're going off tangent again, but, like, this is relevant. So, like, I remember when she had that controversy with one of the characters on the show, and I think she had a controversy with, like, the actress. She had a controversy with the actress who plays Mercedes as well, because they didn't actually like each other. And I think, obviously, they had that whole storyline in the show anyway. But, like, well, obviously, Mercedes wanted to be the star. And she's like, what's so special about Rachel? And I said, yeah, I'm on your side. Rachel's not even that good a singer. Like, she's okay. But if we think about when she choked on her Nada audition, yeah. Would Mercedes have done that? No. Like, she wouldn't have. But moving on, like, yeah, so she had this thing. But I think Leah had a problem with, just aside from her one with Amber, she had another problem with one of the other actresses who was a new addition on there. Probably, like, at the end of the season, like, near probably maybe 5 or 6. Yeah, maybe 5 or 6. This obviously, Glee ran for 6 seasons, so, like, yeah. And then, even when I just said what I said earlier about a show having a short shelf life, like, Glee having 6, is it telling? It might not be, though. It might not be all that telling, though, because I think with Glee, they squeezed that out as much as they could. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, with the juice, they squeezed it out and, like, it was dead, really. So, it was dead. So, and when you think about Glee then, also, like, as a franchise, like, you think, yeah, so many people died from that show. Like, it's 3. The number is 3. And it's just bizarre. It's not to say, because I'm like myself, it's not a Glee thing, is it? But then you think to yourself, when 3 cast members in your show die, you're like, what's going on there? What's going on there? And that's why I said, like what I just said before, I said it's about skeletons in the closet, right? Behind a show. We don't know what's going on. We watch the show and we think everything's okay. But in hindsight, yeah, there's problems. Like, it just, yeah, it makes you question it. And then even if we think about Ryan Murphy was the director, we think, how good of a guy was he? Like, was he a good director to these cast members? We'll never know. We'll never know. I mean, that's the questions, actually. You know what I mean? That's the questions. Sorry, hold on. Yeah, that is the questions they should be asking Cooper and Nicholas. We said sorry. We want to hear the real nitty-gritty. What is it like working with Ryan Murphy as a director? Skip to the real truths here. But I know that that's a difficult topic. As a journalist myself, but not like a crazy journalist, but like, a beginner, I would, yeah, I would go for the kahunas. I'd say, what is it like working with Ryan Murphy on set? What is he like as a person? Because he's had a pop at Kiki Palmer recently, but let's not get onto that. Because, yeah, I will do a podcast episode on that one day, but, like, let's slow down because, obviously, I have a real gripe with Ryan Murphy, and if I talk about that, it might be an hour. Like, it actually might be an hour. Possibly. And I don't know, like, if it is an hour, you guys can prep up your feet, like, have your feet, get some snacks, like, have a hot chocolate, like, you know, it's fine. I'm a yapper and you can listen to me. And I keep you guys, I go off like a lot, but I'm still being current, you know? We're still on the same topic. Right now I'm talking about probably shows just in general and their lanes and how, yeah, that's what I was talking about the main character, like the whole main character syndrome thing. Do you know what I mean? And that probably was what it was for Charlie on Two and a Half Men. Because obviously, yeah, he got to have his name as Charlie. Nobody else did, you know. But and then it's like obviously when Charlie would come on the show, like you'd be like, wow, it's Charlie Sheen, because it's like he's the guy. He's actually the guy. But let's talk about Two and a Half Men. I mean, as a storyline, not as just Charlie, but like as it's important. Yeah. So like I said, I like that, yeah, it's 12 seasons and it's all like, yeah, through his years. And then I think, remember, so halfway, hold on a second. I need to check that actually. But yeah, like, because obviously, yeah, then they bring Ashton Kutcher and he's like, yeah, he's like Warden or something. Yeah, bro. When they bring in Aston, yeah, and then it says, how many seasons did Ashton Kutcher do with Two and a Half Men? And he was 4. He did 4 seasons with them. 4? And he joined it in 2011. And also, what was so interesting, I realised, obviously Two and a Half Men first started a year after I was born. I was like, wow, that's so cute. Of course, when I was born, I didn't know nothing about it. But I think I started finding about Two and a Half Men when I was like, I don't know, in primary school or secondary school maybe? Yeah, probably secondary school actually, because, yeah, why would you be watching Two and a Half Men as a 7-year-old, you know what I mean? It's not, like, okay, it's an American sitcom and sure, like, you know, I feel like because it's a show about family, you're like, yeah, you can watch it and it has a kid in it, but, you know, it's the same way. It has that same feel that all American sitcoms have. Like, it's a bit crude. Like, sorry, but we know that. You know, you get what you get with American sitcoms, right? You know, they have substance, right? They have substance. They have storyline, but of course they're gonna have a bit of like crude adult humor. It's just like, yeah. This is sometimes I might to myself. When people do sitcoms sometimes, they do make stuff. Sometimes they take it a bit too far because we're like, why are you? This is an American like family TV show. Like, don't make it weird. But like, sometimes that's what they do though. But I'm saying I wouldn't have been watching Two and a Half Men when I was when I was like 7 or something. But I think I was watching it when I was in school, and I used to watch it with my brother. I think, it was his show. And honestly, when I think about it, most of the shows that I watched back in the day, they would do it to my brother, I can't lie. Some of them, though. But some of them were generally just good shows. Like, for example, like, I don't know, Young Dracula. But then you guys might be like, wouldn't you find Young Dracula on your own? But I don't know. I don't think so. No, like, generally not. I don't think so. It's because I suppose you also think, like, that there's stereotypes with these type of things. And you think to yourself, oh, like, I don't think Young Dracula's a show that I would have necessarily gone out my way to watch because, I don't know, I'm just a girl. But, like, no. But, like, like, yes. But also, no. But then I'm just like, of course, I just mean, you know, because I think, what was it? Me and my brother were talking about Charlie and Lola. I was saying to him, I loved Charlie and Lola. And then he was just like, oh yeah, Charlie and Lola explains our dynamic as siblings. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. But I'm like, First of all, because he was like, oh, you don't really think about their dynamic, Charlie and Lola's sibling dynamic. And I'm like, no, like when I first watched Charlie and Lola, yeah, I was thinking about Lola going up the stairs and like the pink milk. Like, hello, that's what I'm sorry. Of course, that's a girl thing, but I'm like, yeah, us girls were like, wow, Lola likes pink milk. Like, and I was always like, was like obsessed with like, yeah, her like enjoying pink milk, and like she had that swirly, like how in the intro there's the swirly straw, and I was like, I want a swirly straw. And I remember when you first saw that on Lola, yeah, everyone was obsessed with swirly straws. I had one, obviously when I was young. I had a swirly straw, not for very long, but like, yeah, I had a swirly straw, and it was a good time because swirly straws back then, you used to do the bubbles in them, and that was real fun. Like, I think, yeah, the bubbles thing was from Charlie and Lola, if I'm not wrong. Like, yeah, I remember seeing the bubbles thing in Charlie and Lola. And from there, like, yeah, it makes you think, like, there's so many, like, digital, like, oh, there's so much footprints, like, in the world in general. Like, and you ask yourself, where do trends start? Where do they begin? Like, the bubble one, yeah. The bubble one in the cup, yeah. Yeah. It's Charlie and Lola for sure, like. But it might be somewhere else. But, like, obviously, if someone wants to say that it's somewhere else, they can. But, like, I was thinking that I remember for me that it was Charlie and Lola. Because she obviously blow, like, big bubbles. And I thought she was blowing them with either Charlie. Or she was either blowing them with Lottie, her best friend. So, you know, it was either one. But, like, yeah. But I'm just trying to say, yeah, that was the origins of me watching 2.5 Men, because it's even like, yeah, I think to myself, without the influence of my brother, would I have watched 2.5 Men either? It's like, not necessarily, but like 2.5 Men is a good show. Like, I think to myself, yeah, it's a good show, but then obviously, of course, it's not a show that I would go out of my way to watch, because like, okay, not even say it's about men, but then that's fine. Like, but like, it's about men, so it's not even our target. It's not even our target audience. Like, even yourself, yeah, when you think about shows, you're like, what's their target audience? Like, it's not me. Like, it's guys. Like, it's actually guys. And it's not a bad thing, but I'm saying, like, it's just about, yeah, like, what show is for you. And, like, yeah, 2.5 Men was just, like, yeah, it was funny. Like, do you remember Charlie when Charlie used to do like, that's the funniest thing in the whole show, and everybody knows that actually. That's like a quotable. Like, how a character always has they have a quotable, and like, that's Charlie's quotable. Alan. Like, that's his quotable. And like, yeah, that's his quotable. And then obviously, it was always interesting that, like, I thought Alan was a single dad, which he was, but no, Jake's mum was still in the picture. Like, he just, I just think that, I don't know if we ever saw her. That's one thing. I don't know if we ever saw her, though. But yeah, like, as in, he would look after Jake, and I think that was also an interesting aspect. It felt like Jake only had one parent. So, and because that changes the narrative, I mean, because you always see single mums and that on TV. Like, I don't know, they like to perpetuate that narrative a lot, which is fine, because obviously there are single mums, but like, they just obviously will do that. But I think with 2.5 Men, I was like, yeah, like, obviously it looks like Alan just takes care of Jake on his own. Well, not on his own, but, with Charlie. But, like, I was like, wow, do you know what I mean? It was quite interesting. And, like, yeah, my main thing is that 2.5 Men was just, it's a classic, and we all know it. It's a classic, because obviously it came out, like I said, in 2003, and that automatically makes it a classic. Like, the 2000s, it was a classic time, to be honest. And like, yeah, you had shows like 2.5 Men, and like what else? Because I think when I just searched it up, there was stuff that was coming up too. So, right, they had those kind of ones back then. None of these that I like though. Like, what was this? How I Met Your Mother. I mean, no, How I Met Your Mother is good. Oh, My Wife and Kids, duh. What's the one as well? Everybody Loves Raymond. Yeah. You know, Everybody Loves Raymond. I didn't really mess with that show, bro. But obviously, you see, Everyone Loves Raymond came out in 1996. But even when I saw it on the TV, I mean, of course, growing up, I mean, like, I didn't really mess with it, you know? I didn't really mess with it. So, yeah. It's so funny. Like, oh, like after I finish this episode, sorry, I'm probably gonna like it's like when you now that I've done this episode, I'm like I'm gonna go afterwards. I'm gonna watch a compilation of 2.5 Men episodes because I have to relive it. First of all, the episode once has made me want to relive it as well. Because it's like, yeah, I haven't seen a 2.5 Men episode in years. And it's like, it used to obviously, yeah, like run on TV like a lot. And then it kind of just stopped, I think. Even though I'm sure you could find it though. Because, like, I always think about the fact that, like, when you're young, like, shows feel accessible to find. But then it's like when you get older, they sometimes obviously go away. Or, like, the problem I have with Sky is that, of course, they always take things off of there and it goes on Sky Store. And it's like, who's paying for that? Who's paying for that? We already pay for Sky as a package. I don't know why you're asking me to pay for films or shows. It's a bit cheeky. But, yeah, like... So like, that's what I mean. I guess I could find it, but I'll probably watch my compilation on YouTube anyways, because that just saves a lot of time. But I would be interested to also know then if it is still running on TV today, because it's just like, if it is, that's great. I always think that they should keep old shows alive, like, they're like those type of shows, they're trendsetters, they are legends, like, don't forget about them, so, and that type of show, 2.5 Men, I'd be so angry if they came with a remake, because it just seems like today they just want to remake everything. I'm like, no, please stop, I beg, please stop. Because what angered me was when I saw now obviously I'm completely off talking about 2.5 Men now, but like, so this is just reaching the end. So like, I saw the other day they're gonna do a series for Cruel Intentions. I said, are you mad? Do you know how good Cruel Intentions is? I'm sure you guys do. But like, it's just like, Cruel Intentions is so good and it doesn't need a show. Like, you know what a remake is that I did watch? I watched the Gossip Girl remake. Okay, that's fine. But, like, it's not to say that it really, like... I don't know, like, it was good, but, like... No, like, I don't know. Sometimes remakes just feel so forced, That's the thing. They feel so forced somehow. Like, I can't explain it. But, like, they come on and they don't feel the same. They just feel overdone. Like, for example, actually, another thing as well. I tried watching the Wizards of Waverly Place remake the other day, actually. And I saw a YouTuber speak about the Wizards of Waverly Place remake. And he was talking about how they've just kind of decided to make the young children, they're just supposed to be spin-offs of Alex, Justin and Max. And it's like, if we wanted to see that, we'd just watch the old show. Like, we would just watch Wizards of Waverly Place from like, we just watched the original one, wouldn't we? We don't want to see people acting the same exact way. Like, you know, that's weird. And I think that when I was watching it myself then, so even without what he said, I was like, we don't want that. Like, give us a new spin. Give us a new thingy. And I think people are also upset with the fact that, or that's what Alex said, the YouTuber guy anyway. He said, like, people don't like the fact that, like, Justin's obviously quit magic because he got fired from Q-Tech, but he's just like, he's not the same, and he's not the Justin that any of us would have grown up on, like, as in a character that we would have become fond of somebody who was so hesitant on being a great wizard. Like, that's the main thing I even remember from the Wizard Waverly Place movie. Like, that movie was great. And like how, you know, Justin just wanted to be the winner. Like, and he was like, and it's like, remember when, and that scene is so sad, by the way. Sorry. I don't even want to talk about it. Like, you know, like when Alex is like, it's me, Alex, I'm your sister. Don't you remember me? And he's like, no, I don't have a sister. And we said, what? You don't have a sister? You do. She's right in front of you. And then it's like, and then I think, doesn't in that film, she ends up, giving it to Justin. But like, because obviously Justin deserves to win. So she thinks that Justin deserves to win, which he does. I always, like, you know, even though everyone, like, watching Wizard Waverly Place back then, I was like, yeah, everyone rooted for Alex. Alex was the main character practically, you know, she was the standout, okay? Like, when we bring it back to main characters, she was that. But like, Justin was also like, he also had things like, he was a good wizard in that. And then it's like, they're just making him into this, frumpy sitcom dad. Yeah, run it back. Run it back, because I don't know what you mean. Like, that's not Justin. Like, it's not him. It's him, but it's not him. So, yeah, that makes me think about it. So look at this. Look what I've done. Do you know what I mean? I spent 30 minutes. And also, I've obviously realised next 2 episodes, or probably next 3, it's either we're going to talk about remakes or we're going to talk about New Girl. So it's either or. But then, I mean, they're going to come in order, of course. But yeah, because remakes, I do also have a gripe with them, because I don't get them. And that's why I'm saying, like, just now to close off then, I'm saying I wouldn't want 2.5 Men to have a remake, because it just wouldn't work. Because then, of course, what they would do is they'd bring in 2 guys, and they'd bring in a boy, and then, I don't think they'd be called Charlie, of course, or Alan. It would be the same type of rundown, just different names, but same plot. And it just feel weird, because you're just watching the same thing. You're watching the same thing, but in a different way. It's like, no, I don't want to watch it again. But anyways, thank you for tuning in on this episode of Shan Subs. Hope to see you again soon.